Hello again, Supers Online. Let's proceed to our topic about partnerships, and this one is transitioning from a partnership. So, just as partnership undergoes a journey in the early formation stage of its life cycle, so there is a process of transition that takes place once the partnership has achieved its stated objectives. So, the diagram below shows the main transitions that can happen at this point. So, this one. So it's either it can shut down, spin off, hand off, scale up, review, plan new phase, scoping and structuring, agreeing, managing, and reviewing. No, so this could be a cycle, or probably rescope, then agreeing, managing, reviewing. Then it could also be adjust, rejuvenate, and reviewing cycle. So, if the partnership is focused from the earliest stages on how the outcomes of its work will be sustained, partners will have been regularly considering their next steps, and the idea of moving on will be embedded in the way the partners plan and move forwards. Thus, the issue of sustainability needs to be built into evaluations and reviews of the partnership and its interventions. Any consideration of the what next question should involve ideas for the sustainability of the work and any related capacity issues, the impact on our stakeholders of different moving on options, how and when to communicate with and or engage with different stakeholders, recipients, donors, partner organizations, and others. Transitioning options. All partnerships eventually arrive at a point at which they either need to take on a new form or draw to a close, so putting in place plans for the full life cycle of the partnership, or at least for an organization's involvement in it, will be an important element of the scoping phase of partnering in order to ensure that the partnership outcomes are sustained and relationships remain good. These plans should be reviewed on a regular basis throughout the life of the partnership to ensure that they are still fit for purpose and that the necessary steps are taken at each stage to ensure sustainability. Ahead of any or communication or meeting with a partner, it is vital that the internal stakeholders have a meeting to discuss the various transitioning options and implications for each of these, deciding together what is the organization's preferred transition. In the simplest forms, a transition takes place either when an organization moves on from a partnership or when an organization remains involved but the partnership changes significantly. So we have option one, partnership ends. So this is the textbook end to a partnership, which will have been planned in from the outset. The ongoing sustainability of the program's work is likely to also have been planned in from the start, whether through mainstreaming being taken over by the national or local government, or by full responsibility being handed over to a local partner organizations. If capacity building from the local organizations or appropriate government planning legislation is required, this should of course be put in place well before the planned endpoint. A smooth transition or a tidy ending agreed and expected by all partners can be a positive transition option. It is important to understand, however, that things do not always go exactly to plan. For those situations, there are other ways to approach transitions as discussed in the next option. So we have here the partnership insight. So cooperation in action, coming together in crisis to create COVID-19 testing booth in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, a partnership was rapidly put together between government agencies and companies in response to rapid increase in COVID-19. So mobile booths were developed which reduced demand on hospitals and health centers and provided free access to healthcare via video links. After an initially successful period, the booths were transferred to the Ministry of health. So this one, let's try to play the video.
If you remember what the paper said, there were people lining up not only in Mugda hospital, but in all the hospitals for testing. And at that time, all the testing centers had not opened all over Bangladesh. There was a mad rush of patients, even if you had a little bit of a cough or a fever that was may not have been symptomatic COVID-19. But people were rushing to hospitals. They were so scared.
Yun guys, may partnership na. Kaya naka-create sila ng ano.
When you're a public representative, when you are representing people, you are always looking for ways and opportunities of serving them better. And this was a great crisis for the country. It was a huge challenge because we had never come across something like this. So it was a chance for innovation. It was a chance to ensure the health and well-being of my constituents, which at the end of the day is my primary responsibility.
So this is from South Korea pala. And this-
We have earned tremendous confidence. Confidence that this kind of public-private partnership can happen. These aspirations we can actually utilize in other areas, like other health problems that's actually grappling our health system, our country. Similar kind of model we can replicate for solving other problems.
I think the whole idea of partnerships coming together and contributing and adding value is critical to this whole process. And we have shown that not just in normal times, in the time of a national and a global emergency, we were able to put this partnership together. So I think in terms of demonstration, in terms of being able to share with people what we have been able to achieve through partnership, I think that's hugely important.
So yun, no? Yun yung ano yung booth about COVID-19. So may ano din, no, may magandang benefits yung nangyari din sa COVID-19 kasi nai-improve yung nai-improve yung partnership sa public at saka private sectors, no. Another option is unplanned departure due to unforeseen circumstances. There may be occasions when things do not go to a plan and an organization's departure from the partnerships is appropriate or unavoidable. So this transition may be minor, such as when small partnership is quietly wrapped up due to changes in the needs of the partners, or it can be significant event that affects long-term relationships. These are the possible triggers. Number one, non-performance of a key partner. So pag ano no, hindi na nagawa yung trabaho ng yung partner, so posibleng mawala na yung partnership. Number two, withdrawal of sponsorship by donor. So yung, yung pera na yung donor, pag wala na yan, so mawawala talaga yung project, yung partnership. Changes the political or economic environment in the partnership's context. Yun. Another, partnership is shut down due to key partner withdrawal from country. Let's say kung nasa abroad yung nagsastop na sila. Or yung business no, nalulugi yung business. So, pwedeng mawala din yung partnership. The number five, host government destabilizes or changes parties following an election. Yun, may epekto din yung election pag change na yung sino yung namumuno. So, posibleng mawala yung partnership. Then option three, we have continuing involvement opportunities arise. In some cases, a partnership is sufficiently successful to attract additional resources, making it possible to extend the planned program in scale or scope. So these significant changes and additional partners or donors should prompt a rescoping of the partnership to ensure that all aspects are adapted to successfully deliver the expanded program. So possible triggers, introduction of additional partners, increase in program scope or scale, changes to the planned beneficiaries. And mangyari ito pag ano no, let's say for example, ano siya, or possibly ano, may iba pang gusto na other technologies na gusto nila na matutunan pero wala doon sa nakalista na ano. So, maano 'yon, na puwede siyang gawin 'no, puwede siyang gagawa magkaroon ng continuing involvement kasi may opportunity 'no. The number four, continuing involvement challenges arises. Frequently in partnerships, challenges arise in relationships and in the performance of partners. So using the partnership health kit tool and establishing open dialogue with partners can help to surface these challenges early and allow for constructive approaches to address them. Often the challenges identified are minor operational issues that are easily solved. At times, however, issues that are more central to the partnership arise, prompting a rescooping exercise. In these cases, all partners become together to review the vision, scope, and structure, and to ensure that any needed changes are made. If the challenge has arisen from a gap in skill or expertise, revisiting the scoping phase will help define the need and look for potential additional partners. So these are the possible triggers. Number one, partnership health check surfaces fundamental issues. Number two, departure of a partner. Number three, identification of a skills gap. Number four, underperformance of a partner. And number five, introduction of a new risk. So examples, during implementation, issues arise due to incompatible financial reporting processes between partner organizations, resulting in financial risk. Or during implementation, it becomes clear that the roles of partners were not clearly defined in the design, resulting in critical gaps in delivery responsibility. Option 5, the partnership ends, but the relationship with the partner continues. There are instances where the planned work of partnership ends and or the program finishes, but there is a desire to continue the relationship with the partner. In this case, it's a good idea to talk with the partner and agree on an informal way to maintain the relationship and remain friends, as well as perhaps exploring opportunities for further work together as opportunities arise. Next is planning in sustainable outcomes throughout the partnership life cycle. Okay, so most practitioners have far more experience with starting and managing partnerships than with transitioning or closing them. Exit strategies and sustainability of outcomes should be embedded in the partnership from the outset and agreed with all partners. Otherwise, partnerships can end messily, compromising the outcomes of relationships, or partners can get locked in well beyond the point when the partnership should have ended. So, you have cases and sustainable outcomes questions. So let's start with scoping and building. These are the questions. What are the possibilities of creating programs that will be sustainable medium to long term in this particular context? What will have to change in the enabling environment to ensure sustainability? Will a partnership approach help bring about such changes? How do each of the potential partners understand and interpret the concept of sustainability? Are the prospective partners committed to focus on activities that will lead to sustainable outcomes beyond the life of a proposed partnership? How can partners embed the principle of sustainable outcomes into the partnership and partner relationships? Are there examples of partnerships that have been successful in achieving sustainable outcomes that provide good learning? Can others who are believed to be crucial to sustaining outcomes be involved from the beginning and in what capacity? as advisory partners, observers, and partner allies? And lastly, how will partners recognize or measure sustainability? Then, for managing and maintaining, how can the partnership be structured to promote greater local self reliance and build capacity to sustain programs mediums to long term? To what extent can the partnership's resources be drawn from local sources, and or how can the partnership develop other self sufficient approaches as part of its activities? Number three, how can the partnership best engage with, help to improve the local mainstream systems to ensure long term delivery and sustainability of outcomes? And lastly, to what degree are the partnership project outcomes sustainable, and what are the indicators for this? For reviewing and revising, what needs to be built into the partnership's review procedures to ensure sustainability remains at the forefront of the partnership's work and the partner's priorities? If there is slippage in meeting sustainability goals, how will partners ensure time is spent revising the partnership's activities and ways of working to get back on track? Next topic, moving on or rescooping. If plans have been put in some place from start of the partnership as set out above, then the final phase should be a smooth one. Here are some guidelines and tips to help you manage it successfully. So first, be inclusive. Involve as many stakeholders in the process as possible. Engage support of senior people where relevant of the partner organizations and those to whom the work is being handed over. Share responsibility for managing the winding up or handing over process as widely with partners as possible. Allow people to express emotions. Yan. Emotions are important, no? So be inclusive. Next is be transparent. Discuss the handing over process openly and avoid secret or bilateral conversations. Remember to record the moving on decisions and handover process. Be honest about difficulties or bad news. Be clear. Clarify what is happening. To those who need to know, be sure that decisions are based on accurate information. Articulate and address any risk involved in the process. And lastly, be patient. Allow enough time for the moving on process. If you rush, important things may be missed out. Expect that some will take more time than others. Don't expect everyone to adapt the proposed changes at the same pace. Take time out with those involved to explore views and manage conflicts if necessary. So just a wrap up. So moving on or scooping, you need to be inclusive, be transparent, be clear, and be patient. Next topic, is there a wider audience for the lessons from your partnership? All transitional situations provide learning opportunities. Partners will have invested time and resources into the partnership, and their experience, good or bad, will be valuable for others. Discuss with colleagues how to draw out the main lessons, formally or informally, anonymized or not, which could be shared more widely and help make future partnerships more effective. Okay, so that's it. So, plenty of information we have on this particular topic, uh, transitioning from a partnership. So, yun. So, thank you very much for watching our videos. Always remember, learning is lifetime. So, bye.